I'm Cody Story down here at Story Fitness, and today I'm going to help you develop the Rocca Press. We're going to begin with a couple regressions in the quad press. That way you can develop your forward pressure before getting to the Rocca Press, where you're going to work on developing overhead pressing strength without any external tools, just your body weight. So your first option is going to be a floor quad press with your hands stacked. So knees on the ground, elbows and forearms on the ground. Pinch the elbows in, elbows under shoulders. Knees outside of the elbows. Make sure the hands are both pointing forward with one stacked on top of the other, and then close the fingers together. Curl your toes underneath your shins and flatten the back. Keep the back flat as we press away. Elbows locked, elbow pits forward at the top, shoulders packed. Control the descent all the way down so you're not bouncing off the floor. Short, sharp exhale through the core on the way up. And then you can also switch hands, elbows in still, keep driving them in on the way down. From the side, hands stacked, elbows in, knees outside of the elbows. Elbow lock at the top, and you want to go 50% body weight in the arms, and you want to have 50% body weight in the legs. So for your first option, you're really working on, with that hand stack position, driving the elbows in, creating external rotation on the shoulders, which helps you get shoulder pack. Then you can start pressing from the triceps and from the lat, rather than if the shoulders creep up and the arms rotate inward, where you're pressing from the anterior part of the shoulder and just the traps. So you want to get elbows in, rotating externally to pack the shoulder down, pressing from underneath the shoulder blades. That's your platform. The next option, we're going to work from the top down in the basic quad press. It's going to add a little bit more load because you're not going to get the break at the bottom. It's taking that rest period out. The hands are going to be fingers spread apart, slightly pointing inward towards each other. To make a diamond would be a good way to measure the hand position. Spread the fingers out, then place them on the ground. Starting from the top, spine long, flat back. Elbows locked, shoulders packed. The knees are slightly outside of the torso, and you're on ball of foot. Control the descent down, and you're not going to touch the ground this time. Elbows driving inward, even though they're flaring out. And by driving those elbows inward, again, you're getting that shoulder pack pressing from the bottoms of the shoulder blades. Side view. 45 degrees on the hands, slightly pointing inward. Flat back, knees outside of torso. Short, sharp exhale through the core on the bottom and the top to get you started. That way you're exhaling and disciplining the breath on the effort phases. And that will change over time as it becomes easier and easier. But that's a great place to start with your breathing and the movement combined, plus the structure of the body, which is where I'm going over all the mechanics of the joints so you have quality technique. So let's get into the Rocca Press. The Rocca Press has a couple options, and each option you're going to be adding a little bit more load. So if it ever becomes too much, the form starts to fall apart, you're just going to regress down to a more simple component, and you might be regressing all the way down to the quad press when performing the Rocca Press if that form falls apart. So from the side, the same setup on the hands as the floor quad press. But now we're going to be in a modified down dog position with bent knees. Elbows are locked. Drive the chest through the shoulders. Hips are high. Heels come off the floor, and you're going to stay on ball of foot and keep the knees right underneath the torso. Hip as high as possible. Push chest through shoulders, and we're going to descend down and slightly forward. Elbows out. Press from under the shoulder blades in that shoulder pack position. Stopping the head a couple inches from the floor. So you're keeping the knees bent, and even though the elbows are flaring out, you're still developing that external rotation by pulling the elbows down. Okay? Always think of pressing, and I'm going to keep reminding you, press from under the shoulder blades rather than pressing from up in front of the shoulder and out of the neck. Okay? So your next option is going to be with a straight leg position in that modified down dog, because your hands are turned in. We're going to add just a little bit more load because the angle is going to change. So, same position on the hands, but now we're going to go straight legs instead of bent knees. Push the chest through the shoulders with elbow lock. Squeeze the quads to lock the knees. Traveling forward and down, elbows flare out. Heels will come off the ground. Hips high. Thinking of pressing as vertical as possible. From the front, since I didn't show you on the last regression with bent knees, you'll be able to see the position of my elbows. So this is just option 2 with straight legs again. Push back, find your position or your distance from your feet to your hands. Make sure it's nice and stable. Lock the knees, squeeze the quads. Again, trying to press as vertical as you can. Elbows flare out, but press from underneath the shoulder blades. And really control the descent, so that way if you're on a hard surface, you're not going to hit your forehead. Now moving on to the last progression, which is going to be a straight leg position, driving from ball of foot with the heel lifted off the ground, adding again even more load in this final progression. We're going to keep our legs straight like in the last regression, but instead of the heels down low, we're going to go into ball of foot position, heel lift. That's going to get the hips higher, placing more load into the arms, down into the palms. Lock the legs, squeeze the quads, and again, a little more vertical pressing here in this option. All the way to elbow lock at the top. Chest drives through the shoulders, hips high, quads tight. So that's going to be your final progression, which is going to be ball of foot, Rocca Press. It's going to have the most load, so it's going to be that much more important to really focus on the cues that I'm giving you for the mechanics. The front view will be the last time I give you the rundown on the straight leg, ball of foot, Rocca Press. So hips are high, squeeze the quads, lock the knees. Chest drives through the shoulders, elbows flare. Press from underneath the shoulder blades. Always getting to that elbow lock position on the top so you completely extend the arms. That way you're maximizing your full range of motion all the way down to the bottom, back to the top position. So those are your regressions all the way up to your progressions from the quad press to the Rocca Press. Break them down. Make sure you have quality technique. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being perfect form, you want to have at least an 8 out of 10. Once your discomfort drops below a 3 on a scale of 1 to 10, then you're going to also progress the complexity because it's not too challenging anymore and the form is really solid. So that means it's time to go challenge yourself with a little bit more load or a more complex progression. If you got any questions, hit me up on Facebook at Story Fitness or go to Instagram and it's #StoryFitnessLA. Reach out, I'll get back to you as soon as I can, but have fun and enjoy the quad presses and the Rocca Press. See you soon.